They say every great football club and every legendary player has secrets. They are the tales that go beyond the beautiful game, the moments etched in the history books and the faces plastered on magazine covers. The big clubs, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Manchester United, Juventus, they all have their share of stories. Stories that make you question, stories that make you rethink. Tonight, our focus is on two icons who need no introduction, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, and their respective teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona. Their names echo through the corridors of football history. Their every move is dissected by the media. Their every goal is celebrated with euphoric madness. But what about the moments before the spotlight, the decisions that went into making the legends? Welcome to the show. And tonight's topic is Cristiano and Edu, the untold beginning. Joining us all the way from Spain is a special guest, none other than Edu Aguirre, a journalist who was close to Cristiano during his early days at Real Madrid. His recent revelations promise to pull back the curtain on Cristiano's formative years at the Santiago Bernabeu. What did Cristiano whisper to Iker Casillas? Why did he choose Real Madrid over Barcelona? How did Jose Mourinho influence his early career? And what was the transfer deal that almost brought him to AC Milan? These are just a few of the many questions whose answers we're eagerly anticipating. Edu, thank you for being here. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Let's start with a little, mystery. What was that conversation between Cristiano and Iker Casillas before the Champions League final? Yeah, so it was actually an offhand comment, right? Cristiano told me this during one of our conversations. He said, Iker came up to me and told me, listen, if you score against Liverpool, we'll be champions. And I replied, no. If I score against Liverpool, you'll be champions. So, it was a joke between us, but then, he said, no. You think I won't score? You wait and see. And I ended up scoring twice. But, in the end, the important thing was that Real Madrid won and made history by winning the 10th Champions League title. Yeah, speaking of Real Madrid, there's a widespread belief in Spain that Cristiano would have ended up at Barcelona had it not been for one man, Jose Maria Gutierrez, better known as Guti. So, could you shed some light on that? Yeah, so listen, it's true that when Cristiano arrived at Real Madrid, there were already rumors that Barcelona were interested in signing him. But then Guti was the sporting director at Real Madrid at the time, and he made it clear to everyone that he wanted to bring Cristiano to the team. Guti believed that Cristiano could play alongside Raúl, that he could learn from the best, and that he would be a perfect fit for Real Madrid's style of play. So he made it clear to the president, to the coach, and to everyone around him that he didn't want to let Cristiano leave. And Guti kept a close eye on Cristiano throughout his time at Real Madrid Castilla. He went to watch him train with the reserve team, and he was impressed by his dedication, his work ethic, and his natural talent. So Guti decided to give Cristiano a chance, and he promoted him to the first team. He also convinced the coach to give Cristiano playing time, and he helped him to adapt to life in Madrid. And the rest, as they say, is history. So, coming back to Barcelona, do you think Messi's relationship with Pep Guardiola at Barcelona was a master-apprentice relationship? I think there's a lot of truth to that, because, Pep came up through the youth ranks at Barcelona as a player, and when he became the coach, he continued that same philosophy, that same style of play. And he gave Messi the freedom to roam, to create, to score, and, they had a great understanding of each other's tactics, their movements, and their decision-making, and they achieved a lot together. 4 trophies in one season. It was incredible. So, lastly, could you delve into the transfer deal that almost took Cristiano to AC Milan? Yeah, sure. So, Cristiano was only 18 years old when he signed with Real Madrid, and at that age he wasn't sure if he could make it at such a big club, and Milan offered him a chance to play in Serie A, one of the top leagues in Europe, and also they promised him playing time, which was something that Cristiano needed at that stage of his career. But in the end, he chose Real Madrid because he felt that he could learn more from a bigger club, from a bigger league, and from some of the best players in the world. And, he also wanted to prove himself, to silence the critics who said that he couldn't handle the pressure or the expectations. And he ended up exceeding all those expectations. And on that note, we wrap up tonight's episode. Thank you for joining us. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. The Galacticos, a term synonymous with Real Madrid's grandeur, is now an endangered species. The last time Madrid signed a Galactico was back in 2009, when they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United for a then world record fee of £94 million. Since then, the landscape of world football has changed. Cristiano's departure in 2018 marked the end of an era. Madrid's subsequent failure to win the Champions League for 4 consecutive seasons is evidence that something crucial was missing. Was it just individual brilliance that left the Santiago Bernabéu faithful heartbroken all those years ago? Or was there more to Cristiano Ronaldo's exit than met the eye? As it turns out, there's a lot more to the story. It was a classic tale of 2 strong personalities, each believing they were indispensable, neither willing to compromise. Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, had masterfully built the club into a global phenomenon. His Galactico policy of signing superstar players had transformed Real Madrid into the world's most valuable football club. It was a business empire that dwarfed the value of its rivals. Under Perez's leadership, Madrid had become the 8th most valuable sports team globally, surpassing heavyweights like the NBA's Boston Celtics and baseball's New York Yankees. The Santiago Bernabéu was a cathedral of football, a place where legends were made and broken. But even within this grand narrative, there were undercurrents of tension. Cristiano Ronaldo, a player who had scaled the heights of success with Madrid, felt the winds of change. He sensed that Perez's focus was shifting. The club's attention diverted towards newer, younger stars like Kylian Mbappé. Perez, on the other hand, was caught between the club's tradition of nurturing young talent and the allure of instant success through big money signings. It was a classic boardroom dilemma. According to insiders like Edu Aguirre, who served as Cristiano's agent and close confidant during his time at Madrid, the final breakdown came during contract renewal talks in 2017. Cristiano, then approaching his 30s, wanted a new deal that would make him the highest-paid player in the world. He felt his contributions to the club merited such recognition. Perez, however, saw the proposal as an unnecessary burden. The wheels of the superstar's exit began turning. But it wasn't just about money or age, it was about respect. Cristiano felt disrespected by what he perceived as the club's lack of acknowledgement for his contributions. Perez, on the other hand, saw Madrid's brand as being bigger than any player. The relationship soured, talks broke down, and the once unthinkable became a reality. Cristiano left for Juventus in 2018, taking with him a piece of the club's history. And yet, according to Guerin, the story isn't one of bitterness, but of unfulfilled potential. He reveals how Cristiano's relationship with the club's hierarchy deteriorated over time, leading to a toxic environment that was detrimental to both parties. In fact, he claims that Cristiano's teammates could sense this growing tension and understood why their captain was leaving. What's more, Florentino was already looking beyond Ronaldo, having identified Mbappé as his next Galactico signing. The club's hierarchy had made their choice. Now, behind closed doors, the club's attitude towards Cristiano had undergone a subtle yet significant shift. They were ready to usher in a new era of Galacticos. Perez's grand vision had always been about more than just winning trophies. It was about creating a dynasty, a legacy that transcended individual brilliance. He saw Cristiano as a part of that legacy, but not the entire legacy. As the 2017-2018 season drew to a close, Madrid's inner sanctum buzzed with activity. Secret meetings were held, deals were struck, and the future of the club was being reshaped. Madrid's die-hard fans, The ones who made the Santiago Bernabéu their second home felt the tremors of this internal upheaval. They saw their beloved captain leave not because he wanted to, but because he had no choice. The love was mutual, but the system was rigged. Cristiano's departure wasn't just about ambition or opportunity. It was about survival. He had to look out for himself because the club had already decided his fate. In the grand chessboard of Florentino's master plan, Cristiano's sacrifice was a necessary pawn, a strategic move to pave the way for the next generation of Galacticos. The club's hierarchy had already begun looking past their greatest ever number 7. Now, if you liked this video, we suggest you watch our video on How Did Pep Guardiola Turn Manchester City into a Super Team? Next, if Real Madrid had Cristiano, Barcelona had Messi, the magician who made the impossible look easy. But while fans saw glory on the pitch, the club itself was drowning in chaos. Years of poor management, reckless spending, and political power struggles pushed Barca into crisis. Messi's exit in 2021 felt like heartbreak for the football world. The greatest player in the club's history left not because he wanted to, but because Barcelona simply could not afford him under La Liga's financial rules. But the secret, many insiders knew years before that this moment was coming. Behind Messi's smiling face and countless Ballon d'Or celebrations, there were frustrations. Promises made by the board were broken. World-class teammates promised, but never delivered. Even Messi's relationship with Neymar's departure in 2017 was filled with hidden drama. Messi wanted Neymar to stay, but Barcelona's management lost control of the deal. That single mistake shifted the power balance in Europe, giving PSG its superstar and leaving Messi isolated. This is the story of how Barcelona betrayed the greatest player in the history of football. We are just a few subscribers short of hitting that 1 million subscriber mark. So, if you're not already subscribed, please do and stay tuned for new videos every day. It all started with the best of intentions. After years of domination under Pep Guardiola, Barcelona needed a new direction. In 2012, Tito Vilanova stepped in, but his tenure was short and sweet due to illness. In came Gerardo Martino, Tata, who despite guiding Barcelona to a historic treble in 2013, couldn't keep up with the politics at Camp Nou. Luis Enrique took over and brought through the now famous MSN attacking trio of Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. But the cracks were already showing. Enrique managed to win 9 trophies in 3 seasons, including 2 doubles, but the club's finances were a disaster. Barcelona was about to enter a period of instability. Enrique was replaced by another former player, Ernesto Valverde, whose tenure began with an impressive 12-match winning streak. However, the club's long-standing issues still remained. Messi's contract was a ticking time bomb. He was the club's top earner, and any attempt to renew his deal would disrupt the wage balance. On the pitch, Barcelona kept winning trophies, but there were warning signs. A 5-1 defeat to bitter rivals Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey final exposed defensive frailties and the team's dependence on Messi. In the summer of 2018, Valverde brought in a new formation and system, moving from 4-3-3 to 4-4-2. This meant a more central role for Messi, but it affected his freedom and the team's overall style of play. As the season wore on, rumors swirled around Messi's future, and for the first time ever, he was linked with a move away from Camp Nou. The following campaign, Barcelona won their first ever La Liga, Eco, Sextuple, and reached the Champions League semi-finals. Yet, there were still problems. Messi was unhappy again and even fined the club over an unauthorized interview. The final nail in the coffin came during the 2020-21 season. A humiliating 6-1 defeat to Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League last 16 knocked Barcelona out of Europe's elite competition. And this time, there would be no miraculous comeback. Barcelona had a decision to make, and they chose Messi to blame. There was truth in this, but only part of the story. It was true that Messi had been central to everything Barcelona had achieved over the past decade. He was the club's all-time leading scorer, had won a record 7 Ballon d'Ors, and was arguably the most recognizable athlete on the planet. But the board believed that sacking Messi would open a new chapter in the club's history. They also hoped that his departure would bring much-needed financial relief. And so, on August 5, 2021, Barcelona announced that Messi would not be staying at the club. The official statement read, "Despite having reached an agreement between FC Barcelona and the player, and the clear intention of both parties to sign a new contract, this will not be possible due to financial and structural obstacles in La Liga." Messi's reaction was one of sadness and betrayal. In a tearful press conference, he stated, "I tried to my last to stay here. The president said that I was the best in history, and that this was not the end, that I would continue here for many years. I really hope to return someday in another capacity." The reality was that Barcelona had left Messi with no choice. They had pushed him out. Over the course of his 6-year contract, Messi would have earned close to 550 million euros. But Barcelona could not afford to pay him. Their total debt stood at over 1 billion euros, and the wage bill was unsustainable. The club's total revenue in 2020 was around 715 million euros. But according to Deloitte's Football Money League, Barcelona was only the 4th highest-earning club in the world. Real Madrid topped the list with revenue of 790 million euros. Messi's exit was not just about money, it was also about control. For the first time in almost 2 decades, Barcelona would be entering a new era without Messi. Now it was up to the likes of Pedri, Ansu Fati, and Gavi to carry the club forward. It was a big risk, but in the world of football, risks often pay off. Thank you for watching. So, what do these secrets reveal? Real Madrid's empire survives because it always looks ahead, sometimes even at the cost of legends like Cristiano. Barcelona's collapse showed that even magic needs management, and Messi's forced exit proved that loyalty has its limits in modern football. Mbappe's saga tells us football isn't just a sport anymore. It's a battlefield of money, politics, and global power. And through it all, players like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, and Mbappe remind us of one thing. No matter the drama behind the scenes, when the whistle blows and the ball rolls, the world stops to watch their brilliance. In the end, football's greatest secrets aren't just about transfers, contracts, or negotiations. They're about dreams. Dreams of players who wanted to be remembered, clubs that wanted to be eternal, and fans who wanted to believe their heroes were untouchable. But now you know the truth. Behind every roar of the crowd, behind every shining trophy, lie secrets that changed football forever. Now, let's take a journey through the hidden truths that have shaped the beautiful game. First, the rise of the modern superstar. The 21st century ushered in a new era in football with players transcending the sport. Names like Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, and Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. became global icons, influencing fashion, culture, and trends. Their skills captivated the world, leaving fans in awe. But how did they manage to achieve such iconic status? The answer lies in understanding their unique journeys. Cristiano Ronaldo's story began in humble beginnings. Born in Madeira, Portugal, his raw talent was nurtured by Sporting CP, setting the stage for his meteoric rise. At Manchester United, he dazzled audiences, winning his first Ballon d'Or. A move to Real Madrid saw him rewrite history, becoming the club's top scorer before conquering Italy with Juventus. Throughout his career, Ronaldo's dedication to fitness, mental strength, and relentless pursuit of excellence have been key to his longevity and success. Lionel Messi's journey is equally captivating. The young Argentine's path was marked by challenges, including a growth hormone deficiency. His talent couldn't be ignored. FC Barcelona's La Masia Academy became his proving ground. Under Pep Guardiola, Messi truly blossomed, leading Barcelona to numerous trophies and establishing himself as a global icon. His mesmerizing dribbling skills, precise passing, and prolific goal scoring have left fans spellbound. Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., the Brazilian magician, burst onto the scene with Santos FC. His dazzling displays earned him the title of the best young player in the world. A move to Barcelona reunited him with his idol, Ronaldinho, and he quickly made an impact. Neymar's transfer to Paris Saint-Germain in 2017 shook the football world. For a record-breaking €222 million, he became the most expensive player globally. Neymar's electrifying pace, trickery, and flair have made him a force to be reckoned with. Each of these superstars has blazed a trail, breaking records and defying expectations. They've redefined what it means to be a modern footballer, captivating fans worldwide and leaving an indelible mark on the sport. As we delve deeper into the secrets of football, we encounter the next pivotal revelation: the evolution of football tactics and training. As the game evolved, so did the tactics and training methods. Legendary managers like Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho introduced innovative formations and playing styles that revolutionized the sport. Data analysis, sports science, and fitness regimes took center stage, ensuring players were not only skilled, but also in peak physical condition. But how does this evolution shape the beautiful game today? The impact is undeniable. Teams now emphasize possession-based play, quick transitions, and intelligent movement off the ball. The introduction of advanced training methodologies has led to more tactical flexibility and an increase in match preparation. Modern players are not just athletes, they're students of the game, constantly analyzing their performance and adapting their strategies. The marriage of innovation and tradition has elevated football to a new level of sophistication and excitement. And there you have it, the fascinating world of football. Now that you're in the know, the game will never look the same to you. Remember, behind every successful player, club, or manager are countless stories of hard work, sacrifice, and strategic brilliance. And now you have a front-row seat to the stories that shaped football's evolution. Do you have a favorite player or moment from the beautiful game? Share your thoughts below. Your insights might be the inspiration for our next video. Until then, keep watching and stay curious. The world of football is full of surprises, and we can't wait to bring them to you. Thank you for being part of our journey. Together, let's continue to explore the captivating world of football. While Madrid was pushing their legends away, Barcelona was falling apart from the inside. For years, Messi carried the team on his shoulders. But behind the scenes, it was chaos. The board made disastrous transfers, spending billions but never building a real team. Coutinho, Dembele, Griezmann, none of them were worth the money. And Messi wanted Neymar back. He wanted a squad that could compete. But instead, he got promises from the club that were broken again and again. By 2021, the truth exploded. Barcelona couldn't afford to keep him. They were going bankrupt. And imagine that. The face of the club for 20 years, the greatest to ever wear the shirt, was told to leave or they'd have to pay a transfer fee. That's why Messi cried during his farewell press conference, not just because he was leaving, but because the dream of Barcelona had been destroyed by poor leadership. The prince who can't decide. If Cristiano was Madrid's past and Messi was Barcelona's heart, Mbappé is the future. But his story is the most complicated of them all. For years, Madrid chased him like a treasure. They offered him the number 7 shirt. They prepared contracts. Zidane personally spoke with his family. And Mbappé himself admitted, his dream is to play for Madrid. But PSG and the entire country of France refused to let him go. The secret details are jaw-dropping. The president of France personally called Mbappé to convince him to stay. PSG's Qatari owners promised him power no player had ever received. Influence over transfers, a massive salary, and the chance to lead France into the 2024 Olympics and beyond. Madrid fans felt betrayed. Twice they thought he was coming. Twice he changed his mind. And yet Perez still believes Mbappé will eventually wear the white shirt. The story isn't over. It's a saga that continues to shape the future of football. The Frenchman has decided to extend his contract with PSG despite Real Madrid's interest in signing him. The forward's current deal at the Parc des Princes was due to expire at the end of the season, but both parties have agreed to extend their partnership until June 2025. A statement released on PSG's official website on Saturday confirmed the news. It reads, Paris Saint-Germain is pleased to announce that a new deal has been reached with its striker Kylian Mbappé, whose contract would have expired on June 30, 2024. The new deal runs until June 2025. While the exact terms of the deal were not revealed, reports claim that Mbappé will earn around €100 million per year, making him one of the highest-paid players in the world. Real Madrid were hoping to sign the 24-year-old on a free transfer this summer after he rejected several attempts from the club to extend his stay in Paris. However, it seems that Los Blancos' plans have been thwarted, as Mbappé has decided to stay put. Reports also claimed that PSG were willing to sacrifice the Frenchman in order to balance their books following financial fair play regulations. But it seems that won't be the case this season. Mbappé joined PSG from Monaco in 2017 and has gone on to make over 260 appearances for the club, scoring more than 200 goals. He helped them win 3 Ligue 1 titles, 2 French Cups, and 8 other trophies. Despite his success in Paris, Mbappé has been linked with a move to Real Madrid for some time now. In an interview with France Football in 2021, he admitted that his dream was to play for the Spanish Giants. He said, I dreamed of playing in the Champions League and La Liga. This is a dream I have had since I was little. It is a dream I still have today. Madrid officials reportedly held talks with Mbappé's representatives last year in an attempt to reach an agreement. According to reports, the player was keen on a move to the Bernabeu, but PSG were desperate to keep hold of him. In January, Madrid made a €180 million bid for Mbappé, but PSG rejected it outright. The French club's sporting director Leonardo even hit out at Madrid for trying to sign the player. He said, It's not normal to talk about a player who is under contract with another team. If they continue to court him, they will have problems with us. The situation is completely different now. And now it seems like Mbappé has decided to stay put. The news of his contract extension is likely to come as a blow to Madrid, who have been long-term admirers of the player. Manager Carlo Ancelotti had hoped to reunite with Mbappé, having previously worked with him at PSG. However, it seems like he will have to look elsewhere for attacking reinforcements. So, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For more such interesting news, stay tuned. The summer of 2018 was supposed to be all about Neymar and his world record transfer to PSG. But as the clock ticked down on transfer deadline day, another bombshell dropped. Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who had carried Real Madrid to 3 consecutive Champions League titles, had agreed to join Juventus. The shockwaves were immediate. How could this happen? Madrid fans were heartbroken, and many started pointing fingers at their own president, Florentino Perez, believing he had engineered Ronaldo's exit. But amidst the swirling rumors and speculation, one man knew the full story. He was Ronaldo's trusted confidant, his link to Spain, and he had been with the Portuguese superstar through thick and thin. His name is Edu Aguirre. And today, for the first time ever, he's going to reveal the inside story of how Ronaldo left Real Madrid and why. We often talk about football players' on-field brilliance, their goals, their assists, their trophies. But rarely do we delve into the off-field realities that shape their decisions. Cristiano Ronaldo's relationship with Real Madrid was a tale of 2 extremes: public adulation and private turmoil. While the Santiago Bernabeu roared with his every touch, there were boardroom battles being fought over his contract, his image rights, and his very future at the club. And when the dust settled, Ronaldo was on a plane to Italy, leaving behind a legacy that would forever be tarnished by accusations of betrayal. But here's the twist. According to Edu Aguirre, the architect of Ronaldo's exit wasn't Florentino Perez, but none other than Cristiano Ronaldo himself. As Aguirre puts it, Florentino Perez always did everything possible to keep Cristiano at Real Madrid. However, Ronaldo harbored a long-standing resentment towards the club's president. When Ronaldo demanded a new contract in 2016, he found himself at odds with the club's hierarchy. This wasn't just about salary negotiations, it was about control. Ronaldo wanted more say in the club's affairs, and he wasn't afraid to make his displeasure known. Remember, this is the same Ronaldo who once threatened to leave Manchester United after they failed to meet his wage demands, and Perez, who had masterminded the signings of Galacticos like Zinedine Zidane, David Beckham, and Luis Figo, wasn't going to let one player dictate the terms. Then came the pivotal moment, the 2018 Champions League final against Liverpool. With Real Madrid on the brink of yet another title, Ronaldo suffered an injury that would sideline him for weeks. Many saw this as a blessing in disguise, a chance for other players to shine. But Ronaldo saw it as a betrayal by the football gods. And when he returned, he was a changed man, colder, more distant, his relationship with the club and its fans hanging by a thread. Even his teammates sensed the shift. Sergio Ramos, Marcelo, and Karim Benzema, who had formed an impenetrable bond with Ronaldo, were caught in the crossfire. They understood Ronaldo's frustrations, but they were also loyal to the club that had given them everything. As the season drew to a close, so did Ronaldo's time at Real Madrid. Juventus made an offer that was too good to refuse, and before anyone could blink, the deal was done. But here's the most shocking revelation from Aguirre. Contrary to popular belief, Ronaldo had no interest in joining either Manchester United or PSG. He had set his sights on Juventus, and no amount of persuasion from his agent or anyone else could change his mind. In fact, when Jorge Mendes floated the idea of a sensational return to Old Trafford, Ronaldo had just one response: no, never again. What was it about Juventus that appealed to him so much? According to Aguilar, it was the club's willingness to give him what he had always craved: total control. Juventus was ready to put Ronaldo in the driving seat, both on and off the pitch. Looking back, it's hard not to see the parallels between Ronaldo's exit from Madrid and Lionel Messi's from Barcelona. Both players were forced out by their respective clubs, not because they couldn't contribute anymore, but because the clubs had reached the limits of their own ambition. Thanks for watching. So, what do we learn from these hidden stories? Real Madrid's greatness comes from its willingness to sacrifice even its legends. Barcelona's downfall came from broken promises and reckless leadership. Mbappé's saga shows us football is no longer just a game. It's politics, money, and national pride. And Cristiano's story reminds us that behind every superstar is a man who just wants respect. But here's the beauty. Despite the betrayals, despite the chaos, when the ball rolls, none of it matters. When Messi weaves past defenders, when Cristiano scores with that unstoppable header, when Mbappé sprints like lightning, the world forgets the politics and remembers the magic. Football's secrets don't take away its magic. They make it even more human. And that's why we love it. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we bring you the biggest stories from the world of football, the ones they don't want you to know. We start with the sad demise of an era, Barcelona's fall from grace, a club built on the philosophy of La Masia, the dream factory, the conveyor belt of local talent. Now, look at them. A team of superstars with egos the size of mansions, all playing for who knows how long. Rumors of dressing room fallouts, of players not even trying. How did this once great team fall apart? Well, if you ask me, it was a slow and steady demise, a gradual erosion of the very values that made Barcelona great. The club became a victim of its own success, a casualty of complacency. It's a cautionary tale for all the big wigs in football, a reminder that arrogance and carelessness can bring even the mightiest down. Mbappé chooses Real Madrid over Liverpool. Why? Because he wanted to play in the Champions League. Where is the France forward likely to end up? Well, the same place most elite players end up these days, the Santiago Bernabéu. That's right, Real Madrid has won the race for his signature. Seems like they've offered him a mouth-watering deal, one that will make him the highest-paid player in the world. Talk about making your dreams come true. But the plot thickens. According to reports, Mbappé had a gentleman's agreement with Liverpool to join them next season. So is this Real Madrid move a betrayal? You decide. Now, the king of the beautiful game, Cristiano Ronaldo, is reportedly unhappy at Manchester United. Apparently, the club's lack of ambition doesn't align with his own. He wants out, but where will he go? Well, according to rumors, he's got offers from two of Europe's top clubs, both in England. Reports say he could either join Chelsea or his former club, Manchester City. Who would have thought we'd see Ronaldo in a sky blue shirt? If this move materializes, it'll be one of football's biggest plot twists. For now, though, only time will tell where Ronaldo's journey continues. Next up, a controversial figure in the world of football, Jose Mourinho, has reportedly agreed to become the new manager of Roma. Yes, the special one is on the move again. But why Roma? Well, apparently they offered him a 3-year deal, one that's worth around 6 million euros per season. Not bad for a man who's won 3 Premier League titles and 2 Champions League trophies. But here's the twist. Reports also say he'll be joined by his former rival, Zinedine Zidane. Yes, Zidane is set to be Mourinho's assistant at Roma. Now, that's a power duo you don't see every day. Finally, let's talk about a moment that shook the football world. Lionel Messi has tested positive for COVID-19. Yes, the Great One has been struck down by the virus. According to reports, he's currently asymptomatic and self-isolating. But this raises a big question. Will he be fit to play against Real Madrid in the Champions League? Well, it's too close to call. Paris Saint-Germain hasn't released a statement yet. But one thing's for sure, Madrid will be hoping Messi doesn't make it. Now, here's the morale of the story. Football is a game of highs and lows, of glory and despair, of triumphs and tragedies. It's a game that mirrors life itself. So whether you're a player, a fan, or just a lover of the beautiful game, remember to cherish the highs, support through the lows, and above all, keep your eyes on the ball because in football, as in life, the unexpected can happen any time. That's all for tonight. This is your host, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, keep the ball at your feet. Full time, the scoreboard tells the story. Levante, 1-4. For Levante, the lessons were painful but clear. They can create chances, they can fight with courage, but against elite opponents, small mistakes are punished brutally. Their defense must tighten and their attack must be more clinical if they want to climb the La Liga table. For the winners, this was a statement of intent. Dominant away from home, ruthless in front of goal, and unshakable under pressure. This was the performance of true title contenders. Matches like these don't just bring 3 points, they send a message to the entire league. We are here, and we are strong. For fans, whether in the stadium or watching worldwide, this game delivered what La Liga is famous for: goals, drama, artistry, and passion. Levante 1-4 will be remembered not just for the scoreline, but for the story it told. A brave fight, a masterclass in finishing, and a night of football worth every second. Now, let's get into the details of this amazing encounter. In the heart of Spain, where passion for football runs deep, 2 teams took to the field under the floodlights of the Estadio de Valencia. On one side, Levante, the home team, known for their unwavering spirit, and on the other, the formidable visitors, a squad that had come to town with a mission. From the first whistle, it was evident this wouldn't be a walk in the park for the visitors. Levante came out strong, their game plan clear: attack, press, and make the visitors uncomfortable. The home crowd roared their support, adding an electric atmosphere to the already charged-up stadium. As the minutes ticked by, the tension mounted. Both teams fought hard, each determined to gain the upper hand. But it was the visitors who struck first, catching the home team off guard with a swift counterattack. The goal came as a shock, but Levante, showing the heart of lions, roared back, equalizing before the halftime whistle. The match had turned into a thrilling contest, leaving the fans on the edge of their seats. The second half began with renewed intensity, the home team sensing an opportunity to claim all 3 points. However, it was the visitors who demonstrated their killer instinct, scoring 2 quick goals, leaving Levante stunned. Despite conceding 2 goals, Levante did not drop their heads. They kept pushing, attacking, trying to find a way back into the game. The drama continued with the visitors earning a penalty, extending their lead. The home crowd groaned, but their team kept fighting till the very end. Despite the final scoreline reading Levante 1-4, the home team had shown incredible spirit, never giving up even when faced with a 4-goal deficit. This match wasn't just about goals and the final scoreline. It was a display of sportsmanship, resilience, and sheer determination. Each team played their part, making it a spectacle for the fans. In the end, while the visitors celebrated their victory, the home team walked off the pitch to a chorus of appreciation from their fans. For, in the world of football, it's not just about winning, it's about how you play the game. In the wider context of the league, this win pushes the visitors closer to the top, a testament to their consistent performance throughout the season. As for Levante, they will look to learn from this experience, focusing on the positives and building on their impressive fighting spirit. As the night drew to a close, the echo of the match lingered on. The goals, the tackles, the cheers, and the groans, they had all contributed to a night of top-class football. For those who had witnessed it, it was more than just a match. It was a story that unfolded before their eyes, a story of 2 teams, each with their own tale to tell. And as the spotlight faded and the crowds dispersed, the story remained, a testament to the beauty and passion of the game. For the visitors, their star striker was unstoppable. 2 goals, relentless pressure and leadership that tore Levante apart. The midfield trio deserved equal credit, orchestrating the game with calm precision and never letting Levante settle. And then there was the long-range goal scorer, whose strike will replay on highlight reels for months. Levante, despite defeat, had their bright sparks. Their goalkeeper ironically made several spectacular saves that prevented an even bigger loss. The late goal scorer became a symbol of the team's determination, showing that even in tough moments, Levante refuses to quit. But first, we need to talk about the best player on the pitch, the star striker. He single-handedly tormented the Levante defense. His movement was intelligent, his touch exquisite, and his finishing ruthless. The first goal was a thing of beauty, a perfectly placed shot that left the goalkeeper with no chance. The second goal showcased his predatory instincts, arriving at the right place at the right time to tap in a rebound. But it wasn't just about the goals. His hold-up play was exceptional, bringing others into the game and creating havoc in the opposition's penalty area. His influence on the game was immense, pulling strings and dictating the tempo. Even when his teammates were off their game, he kept pushing, kept probing, and his leadership qualities shone through. Then there was the midfield trio who were equally instrumental in their team's victory. They controlled the middle of the park with a calm precision that belied the intensity of the match. One midfielder in particular stood out with his effortless grace and ability to unlock defenses with a single incisive pass. He was the creative spark that ignited the visitors' attack, constantly feeding the star striker with ammunition. Another midfielder was the engine room, covering every blade of grass and tackling anything that moved. His work rate was infectious, inspiring those around him to up their game. The third member of the trio provided the steal in the middle, winning aerial duels and distributing the ball with pinpoint accuracy. Together, they formed a formidable force, dictating the pace and rhythm of the game. And how can we forget the long-range goal scorer? His moment of magic arrived in the second half when he unleashed a thunderbolt from distance. It was a moment of individual brilliance that put the game beyond doubt. The strike was all the more impressive given the difficulty of the angle. With his back to goal and very little time on the ball, he managed to get a clean connection, sending the ball crashing into the back of the net. It was a goal that epitomized his team's attacking intent, a willingness to take risks and go for broke. the roar of the crowd still echoing in my ears as I replay the goal over and over again in my mind. For Levante, despite the defeat, there were some bright sparks. Their goalkeeper was in inspired form, pulling off several spectacular saves that kept his team in the game. He was a virtual wall, denying the star striker and his teammates with a string of remarkable stops. If not for his heroics between the posts, the scoreline could have been even more emphatic. Late in the game, they pulled one back. It was a moment of individual brilliance, a reminder of the attacking threat posed by Levante. In the dying embers of the match, they almost snatched an equalizer, but it wasn't to be. The result leaves them in a precarious position, but they can take solace in the knowledge that they gave it their all. The late goal scorer, in particular, epitomized the team's fighting spirit, refusing to give up until the final whistle. In conclusion, this was a match full of drama, passion, and commitment from both sides. The star striker and his teammates produced a masterclass in attacking football, leaving the Levante defense in ruins. The long-range goal was the icing on the cake, a moment of individual brilliance that sealed the victory. Despite the defeat, Levante showed character and determination, with their goalkeeper making spectacular saves and their late goal scorer inspiring the team with his never-say-die attitude. This is the story of the night Levante lost everything, the night that will live in infamy. Now, it's hard to pick apart exactly what went wrong for Levante that night. It was one of those nights where nothing went right. But if there's one moment that encapsulated their misery, it was the 23rd minute. The visitors strung together a flowing move, 4 passes, 1 dummy, and suddenly their striker was in. With calm precision, he slotted past Levante's goalkeeper, Heitor Fernandez, and the stadium fell silent. Levante tried to respond, but their opponents had found their rhythm. They pressed, they passed, they moved the ball with purpose, and every time they surged forward, Levante's defense looked shakier than an earthquake survivor. In the 41st minute, disaster struck again. A midfield turnover, a through ball, and their striker was in behind the defense. He took the ball around Heitor and slotted into an empty net. 0-2 before halftime. The visitors had doubled their lead, and Levante walked into the tunnel knowing the mountain ahead was massive. The second half brought no relief. In fact, it was more of the same. Just 10 minutes after the restart, the visitors made it 0-3. A midfielder picked up the ball from distance, looked up, and unleashed a curling rocket that flew into the net. Even Levante's fans applauded. It was that good, and just when it seemed it couldn't get any worse, it did. In the 67th minute, another defensive lapse gave the visiting striker space inside the box. He took a touch, unleashed a strike, and 0-4, the cruelest of scoreboards. But amidst this sea of misery, there was a beacon of pride. In the 82nd minute, Levante finally got on the scoresheet. A quick cross from the right found their substitute forward, Roger Marti, and he bundled the ball into the net. The stadium erupted, not in victory, but in gratitude. At least their team fought until the very end. Levante's misery was complete. They'd lost their way in the second division. The team that once played in Europe was now flirting with relegation. It was a far cry from their glory days, a stark reminder that in football, as in life, things can change on a dime. Now, if you're wondering why this defeat was so crushing, it wasn't just about the scoreline or the implications for the league. It was about the manner of the defeat. They were outplayed, outclassed, and outrun. There was no shred of doubt about the result. The better team won, and Levante had no one to blame but themselves. This defeat wasn't just a blip, though. It was the culmination of years of mismanagement, dwindling fan support, and a string of bad results. This club, once the darling of Spain's second division, was teetering on the edge of oblivion, and all anyone could talk about was the goals that changed everything. As the final whistle blew, the dejected Levante players trudged off the pitch. Their heads hung low, mirroring the curve of the scoreboard. They had lost more than just a match. They had lost hope, and the ghosts of their former glory seemed to mock them from the stands. If you've ever been to the Estadio Ciudad de Valencia, you know it's not the grandest of stadiums. It's modest, it's intimate, and it's steeped in history. But on this night, it felt like a mausoleum, a place where dreams come to die. In the end, the only sound louder than the roar of the crowd was the silence. The silence of a city that once dreamed of football glory but was now drowning in the depths of despair. For Levante, it wasn't just a match. It was a fall from grace. A fall that began with a single step and ended with a deafening thud. A thud that echoed not just in the empty stands of the Estadio Ciudad de Valencia, but in the hearts of every Levante fan. The opening whistle blew, and Levante came out swinging. Their forwards pressed high, their midfielders snapped into tackles, and the crowd roared with every attack. In the 7th minute, Levante nearly stunned the visitors when a clever through ball sent their striker racing toward goal. His shot flew past the keeper, but also past the far post. Hands went on heads. The fans sighed, knowing chances like that don't come often against elite opponents. In the 12th minute, Levante pushed again, winning a free kick just outside the box. The delivery was perfect, the header powerful, but the opposition keeper pulled off a fingertip save to deny the breakthrough. It felt like Levante was on the verge of something special. But football is ruthless. Missed opportunities often come back to haunt you, and the visitors were about to make Levante pay. The match continued with the same intensity, end-to-end action, tackles flying in. In the 23rd minute, a moment of brilliance from a midfield maestro nearly changed everything. He received the ball on the edge of the box, waited for the perfect moment, then unleashed a powerful drive that crashed against the crossbar. The rebound fell kindly for an attacker who was ready to pounce, but the defense scrambled to clear the danger. The tension was palpable. Every tackle, every touch had the crowd on the edge of their seats. As the first half approached its end, both teams threw caution to the wind. A defensive lapse allowed a forward to steal possession and race clear on goal. With only the keeper to beat, he slotted the ball into the net. The stadium erupted. The visitors had taken the lead, and they did so in style. The restart saw the visitors pressing high, looking to add to their lead. A quick passing move opened up the home team's defense, and with a cool finish, a striker made it 2-0. The dream start to the second half for the away team. But credit to Levante. They didn't crumble. They regrouped and launched a wave of attacks. A moment of magic nearly pulled one back for the hosts. A winger received the ball on the right flank, cut inside, leaving defenders in his wake, and curled a shot towards the top corner. The keeper, however, was equal to the task, pushing the ball over the bar. The match was now a tense affair. The visitors were defending deep, soaking up pressure, relying on the counter-attack. In the 80th minute, a yellow card for a professional foul frustrated the home side. They pushed for numbers up front, but it was the visitors who looked more dangerous on the break. A forward surged forward, weaving past challenges. He unleashed a low drive that forced the keeper into a sprawling save. At the death, Levante threw everything they had at the opposition goal. But as the final whistle blew, it was the visitors who held on for a hard-fought victory. The full-time whistle echoed through the stadium, signaling the end of an intense encounter. The away team, with their game plan executed to perfection, celebrated a hard-earned 3 points. For Levante, it was a case of so near yet so far. They had dominated large parts of the game, but missed chances and a lack of clinical finishing proved costly. As the players made their way off the pitch, the home fans, though disappointed, could take pride in their team's valiant effort. Football can be a cruel game, but one thing was certain: Levante would learn from this defeat and come back stronger. Now check out this awesome video and let us know your thoughts. It was an electric night in Valencia. The kind of night that makes you believe in miracles. A stunning night of football. Energy, anticipation, tension. That was the atmosphere as Levante welcomed their opponents for what was expected to be a tough La Liga clash. The stadium lights glowed, banners waved proudly, and thousands of voices filled the air with chants of hope. For Levante fans, this was more than just a game. This was a chance to show they could stand toe-to-toe with one of the strongest sides in the league. But football has a way of writing its own scripts. 90 minutes later, the scoreboard read Levante 1-4. It was a result that shocked some, confirmed the power of the visitors, and left fans with plenty of talking points. Goals, drama, and a mix of heartbreak and brilliance. It was the kind of night that keeps La Liga at the center of football's global stage. Levante came into this match as underdogs. Their position on the table and recent performances showed a team that was struggling to find its rhythm. On the other side, their opponents were not just any team. They were a force to be reckoned with, sitting pretty at the top of the standings. Every football fan knew this would be an uphill battle for Levante, but they were at home, and home is where the heart is. The Ciudad de Valencia, the home of Levante, was roaring that night. The fans, a sea of blue and white, were ready to support their team through thick and thin. But it was the visitors who struck first. The goal came as a shock, a moment of brilliance from their star player who had been a thorn in Levante's side throughout the match. The stadium fell silent as the away team celebrated, the only sound their joyous chants. However, the beautiful game is never a one-way street. And just when it seemed like Levante's heads would drop, a moment of magic happened. Their star player stepped up to take a penalty. The entire stadium was on its feet. The pressure was palpable, but he kept his cool, sending the ball flying into the back of the net. The crowd erupted. It was the moment the home fans had been waiting for. The energy shifted, the tension ratcheted up a notch. Both teams fought hard, each attack a flurry of boots and desperation, each save a roar of defiance. As the second half got underway, it became clear this wouldn't be an easy win for either side. The Red and Blue Army, though, refused to be daunted. They pushed forward, wave after wave of attacks, looking for that elusive second goal. In the 68th minute, their efforts paid off. Another one of their star players, known for his powerful strikes, unleashed a shot that left the goalkeeper with no chance. It was a moment of individual brilliance, a reminder of the attacking prowess this team possesses. The stadium shook with the force of the shot and the elation of the home fans. But football, as they say, is a game of two halves, literally. Just when it seemed Levante had gained the upper hand, the script flipped once again. A defensive lapse allowed the away team's striker to get a foot on the ball. He turned, he shot, and the ball hit the back of the net. The joy on his face was matched only by the agony of the home supporters. Once again, the balance of power had shifted. With the score at 2-2, both teams threw everything they had at their opponents. Substitutions were made, tactics were changed, but neither team would budge. It was end-to-end stuff, a true testament to the beautiful chaos of the sport. As the clock ticked towards the final minutes, it was clear this match would be decided by the smallest of margins. And in the 89th minute, that's exactly what happened. A handball in the box gave Levante a penalty. The star player stepped up. Could he do it again? The answer was lost in the roar of the crowd as he sent the ball sailing into the net. In the end, though, it wasn't enough. Despite their valiant efforts, Levante couldn't hold on, and deep into stoppage time, the away team's striker found the back of the net once again. The final whistle blew soon after, and with it, the dreams of the home side faded. The visitors had held on to their lead and secured all 3 points. The final score, Levante 1-4. It was a night of emotions, a roller coaster ride of a match that kept the home crowd on the edge of their seats. While the result may have disappointed the home fans, they had witnessed a display of resilience, grit, and determination from their team. As for the visitors, they had shown why they are at the top of the league, a blend of individual brilliance and team strategy that proved too strong for Levante. The night may have ended in disappointment for the home side, but it was a performance that gave their fans hope for better days ahead. At the start of the season, we set ourselves 2 goals. 2 goals that, if achieved, would mean everything. The first was to win our home matches. Simple enough, right? But for us, playing in one of the toughest leagues in the world, it was a bold statement. We knew we'd have to be at our best every week. No slip-ups, no off days. But our home ground is our fortress. We made it a place where opponents fear to come. 18 games unbeaten, 18 victories. Our fans were incredible. Their support gave us wings. Each home win brought us closer to our first goal. But what about the second goal? It was bigger, bolder, a real statement. We wanted to win away from home. We had our tactics, our strategies. We knew how to play on the road. But the mental side of it, that was the hardest part. Overcoming the anxiety, the doubt, the fear of the unknown. Because let me tell you, there's nothing like winning away from home. The roar of your own fans. In a strange stadium, it's a feeling that can't be matched. The joy, the camaraderie, the elation. It's pure magic, and we wanted to bottle that feeling. We started with small steps, grinding out results, battling to a draw in tough away games. Each point was hard-fought, each victory sweeter than the last. But we knew the real test was yet to come. The toughest teams, the biggest stadiums, the hostile crowds, this was where legends were made or broken. And then the game shifted. The visiting team opened the scoring with a well-worked move. Quick passing, sharp movement, and a clinical finish that left Levante's goalkeeper helpless. 0-1, and the momentum swung. Levante tried to respond, but their defense was soon under siege. The second goal came just before halftime, a strike that silenced the crowd and showed the visitors' superiority. The away team's forwards were ruthless, punishing every mistake, every loose ball. In the second half, the floodgates opened. A third goal arrived, this time from a long-range effort that curled beautifully into the net. Levante's defenders stood with hands on hips, knowing they were watching a masterclass. The fourth came not long after, sealing the game beyond doubt. At 0-4, it was a demolition. Levante did find some pride in a late consolation goal. A scrappy finish brought cheers from the loyal fans who stayed until the end, but it was never enough to change the outcome. The final whistle blew, and with it, our second goal, our 18th away win. It was a moment of pure ecstasy. The players and the fans, we were all connected in that moment, a sea of emotion. It was more than just a game. It was a testament to the power of belief, the strength of unity. But it wasn't just about the win. It was about how we won, the style, the grace, the sheer brilliance of it all. We had overcome the mental barriers, conquered the doubts, silenced the critics. We had become the away team that other teams feared. And as we celebrated, I couldn't help but look towards the next challenge, the bigger goal that awaited us. With each victory, we were inching closer, turning our second goal into reality. We tasted glory on the road, and we craved more. The journey had been tough, the battles hard-fought, but we were ready to face any challenge, to conquer any stadium. Because we knew we had something special, a team, a spirit, a belief that knew no bounds. And as the night wore on and the celebrations continued, I knew one thing for sure. This was just the beginning. The road ahead was long, but with every step, we were creating history. And we had set our eyes on the ultimate prize. A stunning night of football drama unfolded at the Estadio de Valencia, as Levante hosted a powerhouse side in a La Liga clash that will be remembered for its breathtaking intensity. The match ended with a resounding 1-4 victory for the visitors, but the scoreline doesn't truly reflect the roller coaster ride that was the 90 minutes. The atmosphere crackled with excitement from the moment Levante's Daniel Gomez sent a warning shot just wide of the post in the third minute. The home side started with purpose, looking to make the most of their home advantage, and they nearly made the perfect start when José Campana's cross found Roger Martí unmarked in the 6th minute. However, the striker's glancing header sailed just over the crossbar, leaving the Levante fans with a sense of what could have been. Despite the narrow miss, Levante continued to press and probe, forcing the visitors into some hurried clearances. But, as the saying goes, football is a game of two halves, and the script flipped dramatically after the break. Within 2 minutes of the second half, the visitors took the lead through an own goal. José Campana, who had been a rock for Levante, made a crucial but unintentional contribution to his team's downfall. His attempted clearance struck teammate Robert and wrong-footed his own goalkeeper, leaving the net rippling and the visitors' fans in jubilant celebration. Undeterred, Levante came out swinging, throwing everything they had into the attack. Their relentless pressure paid off in the 57th minute when Sunye sent a pinpoint cross towards Roger Marti, who this time made no mistake with his header, sending the home crowd into raptures and leveling the score. However, the respite was short-lived. Just 2 minutes later, the visitors regained the lead through an extraordinary solo effort from their star player, Pedro. In a moment of pure brilliance, he weaved past defenders, leaving them in his wake, before unleashing a thunderous shot that left the Levante goalkeeper with no chance. With the momentum firmly on their side, the visitors pressed forward relentlessly, adding insult to injury in the 68th minute. A pinpoint cross found an unmarked striker who made a clean connection, sending a header crashing into the back of the net. As the clock ticked down, Levante threw caution to the wind, committing more players to the attack in a desperate bid to salvage a point. This left gaping holes at the back, which the visitors were eager to exploit. In the 89th minute, a swift counterattack saw the visitors' fourth goal, sealing their dominant display. The final whistle blew amidst a sea of blue and white, signifying both the home team's crestfallen faces and the visiting team's jubilant celebrations. It was a night that had it all, from Levante's early promise to the visitors' clinical efficiency. The match wasn't just about goals, it was about resilience, determination, and tactical prowess. For the visitors, it was a masterclass in how to seize control and never let go. As the teams departed the pitch, the narrative was clear. While the scoreline flattered the visitors, their dominance was undeniable. They had come, they had seen, and they had conquered. On the other side, Levante, despite their valiant efforts, had to accept that on this night they were outplayed. In the grand scheme of things, 3 points are 3 points. But the manner in which the visitors secured their victory will undoubtedly be dissected, analyzed, and celebrated in equal measure. The beautiful game had once again served up a night of drama, passion, and skill, leaving the fans with memories that would last a lifetime. A young man named Mike nervously adjusts his tie in front of the mirror. He's getting ready for an important date with a woman he likes. But there's a twist. Mike isn't rich. In fact, he's quite the opposite. He's saving every penny for a rainy day. So, how does he plan to impress his date without spending a fortune? Mike decides to go all out with a classic movie under the stars. He packs a picnic basket with some wine and cheese, grabs a blanket, and heads to a hilltop overlooking the city. As the sun sets, he lays out his blanket and waits for his date to arrive. Soon enough, she shows up, looking beautiful in a flowing white dress. They spend the evening talking, laughing, and sharing their dreams under a canopy of stars. It's not a fancy restaurant or luxurious hotel suite, but it's perfect for Mike and his date. The simplicity of the setting only adds to the charm. The focus is on them, their connection, and the shared experience. They end the night with a kiss under the stars, promising to see each other again soon. Mike may not have had $500,000 to spend on a lavish date, but he created a memory that will last a lifetime. His date, touched by his thoughtfulness and effort, realizes that true romance doesn't need a hefty price tag. Sometimes all it needs is a little creativity and a whole lot of heart. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, a famous YouTuber known as Mr. Beast is preparing for a very different kind of date. He's got a whopping $500,000 to spend, and he wants to make it a night to remember. He starts off by surprising his wife with a private jet ride to Paris, where they check into a luxurious hotel suite with a breathtaking view of the Eiffel Tower. Every moment is meticulously planned. There are rose petals scattered around the room, champagne chilling in an ice bucket, and a grand piano playing their favorite songs. A personal chef prepares a 5-course meal with wine pairings, each dish more decadent than the last. After dinner, Mr. Beast whisks his wife away on a hot air balloon ride over the city, followed by a romantic boat cruise on the Seine River. The night culminates with a private concert by a world-famous musician. It's everything one could dream of in a fairy tale ending. But behind the scenes, there's a lot more going on. The entire date is filmed by a crew of over 50 people who are working tirelessly to capture every perfect moment. There are multiple cameras set up around the suite, the limo, even the private jet. All of this is carefully orchestrated to create an extravagant display of love and luxury for their audience. Back at home, millions of eyes are glued to their screens waiting for the latest episode to drop. When it does, the comments explode with reactions. Some gush over the couple's obvious chemistry, while others criticize the excessive spending. But one thing is for sure, this date won't be forgotten anytime soon. As the two stories unfold, we're left wondering what the real purpose of these dates is. For Mike, it's about connecting with someone in a genuine and heartfelt way. The fact that he's not rich doesn't hinder his ability to make his date feel special. On the other hand, Mr. Beast's date is more about creating a spectacle. It's a performance for his audience, a way to show off his wealth and garner attention. But amidst all the luxury and extravagance, whose date was more enjoyable? Whose memories will stand the test of time? Maybe it's not about the money or the fame, but about the connection we make with others. After all, isn't that what life is all about? Sharing experiences, creating memories, and cherishing the moments that make us feel alive. Whether we're spending $1 or $500,000, it's the little things that matter. The laughter, the joy, the love, and the connection we share with those around us. So the next time you're planning a date, don't break the bank. Just focus on creating a memorable experience filled with love and joy. After all, that's what truly matters. The $1 date. The first date was built on simplicity. Picture this, a quiet afternoon, two people strolling through a local park, laughing as they feed ducks by the pond. Instead of a fancy restaurant, they shared a $1 ice cream cone, 2 spoons, 1 cup, pure fun. No luxury cars, no golden cutlery, no cameras flashing. Just conversation, jokes, and small moments that felt real. The cost, barely $1. But the atmosphere, priceless. They sat on a bench, watching the sunset. The entire world slowed down. Sometimes the smallest things, like splitting a snack or laughing about melted ice cream dripping on your hands, create the biggest memories. It wasn't flashy, but it was genuine. The $3 dinner. For their second outing, they decided on a $3 dinner. No 5-star ingredients, just good old comfort food. They went to a place with red checkered tablecloths and mismatched chairs. The menu had all the classics, the kind of food that brings a smile to your face and a warmth to your belly. Think spaghetti with tomato sauce, garlic bread, maybe some chicken parmesan. This wasn't about the plating or the ambiance, though. It was about the taste of home, the feeling of being cared for. Each bite was like a mini celebration, each sip of water, a pause to catch up on life, dreams, and everything in between. For $3, they got a meal that nourished their bodies and their connection. It wasn't fancy, but it was heartfelt. The $5 amusement park. Their $5 amusement park adventure was pure joy. Imagine the vibrant colors of a carousel, the exhilarating rush of a roller coaster, the soothing melody of a Ferris wheel spinning in the twilight. This wasn't just about the rides, though. It was about the laughter, the screams, the shared experiences that created a bond between them. Picture cotton candy melting down their hands, the joyful chaos of winning a giant panda at a ring toss game, and the sweet ache in their chests as they said goodbye to this magical place. The Ferris wheel offered a panoramic view, a bird's-eye perspective on the happiness they found in each other's company. With every twist, turn, and dip, their excitement grew, creating memories that would forever be tucked away in the chambers of their hearts. It wasn't expensive, but it was unforgettable. The $7 picnic. For their 7th date, they opted for a picnic. A simple blanket spread out under the shade of a tree, surrounded by nature's beauty. The focus was on quality time together, not the quantity of money spent. Their picnic basket held simple delights, sandwiches, fresh fruits, maybe a bottle of lemonade. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of birds singing. It was a symphony of flavors and feelings. As they talked, they shared stories, dreams, and laughter echoing through the trees. The rustling leaves created a natural melody, the perfect soundtrack for their blossoming connection. With every bite of their picnic lunch, they created another thread in the tapestry of their relationship. It wasn't costly, but it was priceless in the memories they wove together. The $10 Starry Night. Their 10th date was a starry night, a tribute to the depth of their connection. The backdrop was a canvas of twinkling stars, the Milky Way stretching across the night sky. The setting, a quiet rooftop or a cozy observatory. Wrapped in a blanket, they gazed at constellations, pointing out shooting stars and making wishes upon them. It was more than just stargazing. It was about the quiet companionship, the shared wonder and the deep conversations that flowed as easily as the river of stars, the vastness of the universe humbling them, reminding them of their place in it all. The starlight danced in their eyes, reflecting the brilliance of their growing affection. It wasn't extravagant, but it was deeply romantic. The dates weren't just about the money spent, but the moments they created, the laughter they shared, the memories they wove together. Each experience added a thread to the fabric of their connection. From the simplicity of a shared ice cream cone to the grandeur of a starry night, their love story unfolded, nurtured by shared experiences and bound by the joy they found in each other's company. Imagine this, a first date where you have to choose between two equally attractive options. But first, let's explore the intriguing findings from an unusual social experiment. Two individuals were set up on what appeared to be a blind date. However, there was a catch. They were given two scenarios to experience separately, each with a different price tag. The first date was designed to be as ordinary and inexpensive as possible, costing only $1. The second date was the complete opposite, costing $500,000 and filled with luxurious experiences. Their mission, if they chose to accept it, was to have fun and flirt. And afterwards they were asked a simple yet profound question. Which date felt more special? Let's start with the $1 date. These two lovebirds found themselves at an ice cream parlor. He opted for vanilla, she chose chocolate. They shared a small table outside, people watching, laughing, talking. There was a purity to the experience, an innocence that comes from a lack of pretense. It was just a guy, a girl, and an ice cream melting away into the background. No expensive surroundings, no fancy foods, no pressure. Just them and their budding connection. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the second date was in full swing. The lucky lady was picked up in a vintage Rolls-Royce. A red carpet entry into a world of luxury awaited her. The interior was adorned with red roses and soft lighting. Champagne flowed freely, as did the canapés. The grand entrance continued with red roses and soft lighting. Canapés and flowing champagne were the order of the day. A private chef prepared a customized meal featuring the finest ingredients. The menu changed daily based on what was fresh and available. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere shifted to a classic bottle of vintage champagne. The food was served on 24-karat gold plates and Cristofal cutlery, adding a touch of royalty to the experience. A live pianist played their favorite songs, creating a perfect romantic ambiance. The night ended with a walk along the Seine, the Eiffel Tower twinkling in the distance. So, which one was more special? When asked, both dates sparked the same question. Which one felt more special? The $1 date had no distractions, no noise, just two people connecting. It proved that intimacy doesn't need a price tag. The $500,000 date was breathtaking, unforgettable, but also overwhelming. Some people felt like the luxury became the star of the show instead of the relationship itself. If you're thinking the $500,000 date wins hands down, think again. Intimacy, laughter, and connection are priceless. Money can buy luxury experiences, but it can't buy chemistry. If you invest in a lavish, expensive date, who will be the center of attention? You or the $100,000 bottle of vintage champagne? While a luxurious date might seem like the ultimate romantic gesture, it can also be a little intimidating. Imagine going on a fancy restaurant and feeling self-conscious because you don't know the proper etiquette for using a golden fork. Feeling awkward and uncomfortable takes away from the experience. A more casual, low-pressure environment allows you to relax and be yourself, which is crucial for building a genuine connection. Of course, this doesn't mean you shouldn't ever splurge on a special date. If you have the means and it feels right, go for it. But it's important to remember that the most meaningful dates are often the ones that are the most simple and authentic. Let's not forget the power of shared experiences. Eating a street food together, taking a spontaneous road trip, or even getting lost in a new city can create unforgettable memories. It's not about the money spent, but about the shared journey and the bond it creates. Now, how much should you actually be spending on a date? There's no magic number, but it's wise to consider your financial situation and set a comfortable budget. The key is to spend enough to show you care, but not so much that it causes financial stress. Communication is vital. If your date is surprised by a sudden hike in the bill, it can create an uncomfortable situation. Be transparent about what you're comfortable spending and discuss it openly with your date. Remember, a great date is about quality time spent together, not the quantity of money exchanged. And who says romance has to break the bank? With a little creativity and thoughtfulness, you can create a memorable date that doesn't cost a fortune. So the next time you're planning a date, keep these tips in mind. You might be surprised at how an ordinary date can turn into something extraordinary.